Tonight's notes are going to be on circle area and circumference. So let's start off with just drawing a circle. Here's my circle. And there's a center. We'll put a line through it. Okay, and I'm just going to put some definitions on there. So from edge to edge going through the center, that's called the diameter. And I'm sure most of you already knew that. And then half the diameter from here to the edge is the radius. There are two radii. There's a radius here and then on the other side. And two radius, two radii make a diameter. So I'm going to give you two formulas. The area of a circle, and I always like to denote what I'm talking about by putting a little circle at the bottom. The area of a circle is pi r squared. Okay, so pi times the radius squared. So pi is a number. It is rounded to 3.14, but I'm going to show you how to use your how to do these problems, and we're going to leave it as pi. R stands for the radius of the circle. Okay, but just so you know what pi is, if you didn't already know, it is 3.14. Now the circumference of the circle, the circumference is just the perimeter. Which means it's all the way around. So the circumference, we're trying to measure all the way around the circle. Okay, just like perimeter when we were working with, polygons. But now since it's a circle, it's a special word. It's called circumference. And circumference is 2 pi r. Or you could also write that as pi d, because 2 radii equal a diameter. So again, r stands for radius. D is the diameter. Okay? And those are the same thing because 2 r's is 1 d, so that works out. Okay? And just as a little note, because we will need this in the future, the degrees of a circle, so all the way around the circle, the degrees is 360 degrees. Okay, so we will use that later on, and just so we can note it right here. All the way around the circle is 360 degrees. So let's do a practice problem. So we're going to find the area of the circumference of the given circle. The area of the circumference of that circle. So the first thing that we should look at is what information are we given? This 5. Is that 5 a radius or is it a diameter? That is a radius. We know it's a radius because it's only half the circle, so it has to be a radius. So The area of a circle we already know is pi r squared. So I'm going to plug in my radius. That'll be pi 5 squared, which will just be 25 pi. Okay. We leave it as 25 pi. Leave it in terms of pi. That is the most exact answer. Okay. So I'm going to put that right here. Okay. There will be very rare occasions where you're going to plug in 3.14, and if you have to, it'll tell you to do that. But in this case, just leave it as in terms of pi. Now the circumference of the circle, we know the equation right here, 2 pi r. So that's going to be 2 pi times 5. So the circumference is 2 times 5, which is 10 pi. And again, you're going to leave it in terms of pi. Okay, so that's all you have to do. So now I'm going to have you do an example. Go ahead. You're going to find the area and the circumference of this circle. Okay, so go ahead, find the area and the circumference of that circle, and I will go over it after. So the first thing you need to realize is this 12. That 12 is not a radius, it is a diameter. So that means my radius is 6 on each side. Okay, now I can find the area, pi r squared, so that'll be pi 6 squared, which means my area is 36 pi. And then the circumference, which is 2 pi r, but remember we have that other one, we could use pi d, because we're given the diameter. That's just going to be 12 pi. Now you could use the radius as well. You plug in 6, 2 times 6 is 12. It's the same thing. Either way, you're going to get the same answer, but just so you can see that if you're given diameter, you can just plug it in and that'll be your answer. All right, thanks for watching.